And it says on the laptop in front of me that I'm Alan Brazil, but
Really?
I don't think I am. What have I done to deserve that?
You've got more hair.
Have I turned into Alan Brazil over these
Got
months?
a lot more hair, 100%.
I do know that you're Gabby Agbonlahor, and I do know that Ashely Young's with us as well, and we're all live from the Paris Club here in Dusseldorf, apart from Alan Brazil, for the next, 23 minutes or so. talkSPORT, your number one destination for sport. Of course, next season we have more football than anyone else, bringing you the first two Premier League games of the season, including Man United against Fulham, Friday, August the 16th, followed by, what a day it's going to be at Portman Road, Ipswich against Liverpool, 12:30 on Saturday, plus more coverage than ever before of the Football League. And if that's not enough, we'll be in Paris for the Olympics on July the 26th as we bring you commentary for the very first time. We're in Blackpool next week for the World Match Play Darts, and we'll be at Royal Troon for the 152nd Open Championship. Nobody else brings you wall-to-wall coverage like us here at talkSPORT. Coming up after us today, by the way, at 10 o'clock, Jim White, Simon Jordan, Darren Bent and Alex Crook. And of course, they'll be looking back on that late win for England last night. Joining us now to tell us what else is coming up on the show and to talk transfers as well as our chief football correspondent, Alex Crook. Morning, Crookie.
Good morning, Crookie.
How are we? Have we all recovered from the trauma of last night?
I'm still traumatised, mate.
Just about, yeah.
I couldn't sleep, Crookie. It was that bad, I couldn't sleep.
It was horrific, wasn't it? I mean, brilliant drama and a brilliant goal from Jude Bellingham, but doesn't really paper over too many cracks, does it?
No. Yeah. Look, let's talk about some club football for a moment or two. Manchester United reached an agreement with the Dan Ashworth to start work immediately as their new sporting director. Does that mean he is immediately hands-on? He'll be the man in charge of signings?
Absolutely. 4 months too late, you could argue, from when Manchester United first made their move for Dan Ashworth. Newcastle were holding out for a compensation package in the region of £20 million. United didn't want to pay that. There was the threat it might go to arbitration. I think both clubs were keen to avoid that. And I think Manchester United have benefited from the fact Newcastle were quite tight when it came to PSR restrictions, so they've come to a compromise agreement, and I think this is a really positive step. I mean, United, for me, have needed a sporting director since David Gill left the football club, as I'm sure Ashely will testify, so not 4 months too late, probably 10 years too late, this appointment, but I think it's a significant step forward. Dan Ashworth, who's done a good job with the FA, did a good job at Brighton, he's done well at Newcastle as well, is just what Manchester United need, I think, to change the direction of travel.
I don't know if you've seen the story this morning in The Athletic saying that Newcastle were fearing a double-digit points deduction. I mean, PSR and the points deductions, I mean, Everton suffered it, obviously, last season, one of the clubs that suffered it. It's completely unbalancing the Premier League table, isn't it? It's got to do. Can't keep just taking points off clubs.
I think it's a terrible look for the Premier League, for the brand, and I hate using the word brand, but that's what football has become. And if you're a fan of a team in Spain or one of the big clubs in Germany or Italy, you look at that Premier League table with asterisks next to teams down at the bottom, it's just not a great look, is it? I mean, we debated this yesterday before the game. For me, PSR is not fit for purpose when you've got a situation where relatively unknown players are changing hands for massively inflated fees. You've got a situation where clubs are being forced to sell players from their academy just to balance the books. I think it's totally wrong, and I don't understand why the Premier League haven't come together as a collective and just said, look, this is not working, let's tear it up and start again.
I mean, Ash, what effect did it have in the dressing room at Goodison last season?
It affected everyone massively. When you're hearing about the points deduction, it's just something that clouded the club non-stop for the whole season. It's tough because you're winning games and you're playing well, and then you're getting points taken off you. And it's like, right, we've now got to go again. And I think we went through a spell around Christmas time where, we went through a difficult period, and it was because we had the second points deduction that was then hanging over us. And it's one of those things that, like Crookie's saying there, the Premier League, you just wanted to tear it up and just start again. And, it's one of the things that we just had to get on with it. And as players, you're thinking, all I've got to do is go out there and win games. But it's that's always in the back of your mind and worrying about it.
I think as well, look at, like, for instance, Aston Villa, Douglas Luiz. There's so many unhappy Villa fans that are in shock, some of them, and disappointed as such a top player. Aston Villa want to go forward. They don't want to just get top four every season. They want to go higher. And you've had to sell one of your best players. Well,
not just that. You want to be competitive in the Champions League. It's better for English football the further clubs go in that competition. And also, we've had a situation with Michael Olise. He's on his way to Bayern Munich. There was big interest from the Premier League, but I think PSR has made it impossible for those big clubs in the Premier League to sign him. And suddenly, one of our crown jewels is off to Germany. That can't be helpful either.
So are we in danger then? Is the Premier League in danger of losing its crown as Europe's top league?
Yeah, I think it is. I mean, we're going to talk a lot about Jude Bellingham today, and it's interesting because the perception over in Spain is that he gets a bit of stick over here in England from fans and from the media because we're jealous that he's playing in La Liga. I've not picked up on that, but that might explain some of his comments. But again, you've got Jude Bellingham, a generational talent. Yes, it's difficult to turn down Real Madrid, but I'm sure we would much prefer if he was playing for one of the top clubs in the Premier League.
Yeah, absolutely. Crookie, thanks very much indeed.
Yes,
two more huge games coming up for you on the Euros today, live on talkSPORT. Crookie will be back, by the way, at 10 o'clock with Jim White and Simon Jordan and Darren Bent as well. Two more huge games from the Euros live on talkSPORT. France against Belgium, looking forward to that at 5 o'clock, and then at 8 o'clock, Portugal against Slovenia. France been pretty underwhelming so far in this tournament, haven't they? Captain Kylian Mbappe is admitted that he's struggling to play at the same level with his mask. Either of you boys ever played in a mask?
Not me, no. Have you, Younger?
Nah, never. I don't got off header, so I don't need to.
Same here.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I can understand. You can understand the difficulties, can't you? France against Belgium, and it is a sort of mouth-watering game in many respects, but neither of them have hit the heights yet, have they?
But if France do, you know, they're dangerous. I mean, Dembele can be frustrating, but if he's on it, he's unplayable, isn't he? Mbappe as well, even with his mask, he's still going to be at it. You know, the previous game, for me, I thought we had a very good game. Griezmann didn't start the last game. He can come back in. You know, I still think France are dangerous, mate.
Yeah, I do as well. And like you said there, Jeff, you say about France versus Belgium, it's a mouth-watering tie, and I think everybody's looking forward to it. You know, if both teams are at it and both teams are looking to win the game, it could be such an entertaining game with the players that are going to be involved on both sides of the draw. So, you know, hopefully it'll be a tournament starter for both teams and an entertaining game to watch.
Yeah, but so far they've both been miles off it. We'll find out. We'll find out next who else has been miles off it in Gabby's eyes.
Gareth's captain of the miles off it team.
talkSPORT Breakfast, waking you up Monday to Friday morning from 6 a.m. on AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.